Let's now take a look at our client-server mail application for the Microsoft Windows environment called All-in-One Mail. I'm using All-in-One Mail locally here on the PC. I have not yet connected into the server. And I've created a drawer on the PC called Local Drawer on the PC Hard Disk. I can then create messages directly here on the PC even though I don't have a host connection, and I can go to the To field and I'll be presented with my personal address book. So I have a couple of different names here in my personal address book, and I can easily just select a name and go to, or I can double click on a name and I can give myself as a CC. I can also, though, do, if I was connected to the server, I can do lookups here to Digital's distributed directory services. I'll then put a quick subject on the message. I'll call it a message for the video, and I'll put in a line of text in the body message. I also, though, have the option, or within the options field, I can set a variety of options here in terms of how I want my delivery notification, if it's going to be confidential, if I want to keep a copy, if I want a reply request, a variety of those other options that I can customize directly for me. I also can put on a series of attachments, and just by clicking on attachments, I can then scan through any of the documents within my PC hard disk. I can attach binary files, I can attach text files. It's very simple overall to attach files directly, but for this simple mail message, I won't do any attachments. Since this is just a real quick message, just have a line of text, I'll then go to the file area and connect onto the server, and I'll be presented with my server dialog, so I will type in my password, and now I will connect. And when I do connect, you'll notice that I have an additional drawer. This is my server drawer on the server, as well as the local drawer on my PC. So I'll double click on the local drawer, and I have my created message here. Also, I have my server drawer, which has my inbox, my outbox, my red box, and my created box. So now what I can do is I can go back to that created message that I had created initially and click on send, and it'll build the message envelope for me and send the message off. And I should get a beep in just a second notifying me that I have some new mail messages. So now I'll click over on the file cabinet. You just heard the beep there, and I'll double click on the inbox, and here is the new message that was just sent to me called a message for the video. All of the activities that were available to me when I was working locally are also available to me when I'm working on the server. So I have my personal address book that's available to me with all of those names if I want to create messages directly on the server. Again, I can do lookups directly here. This is the DDS template so that I could do a quick lookup. I also have the ability to read any mail messages that are available to me. So within my inbox, if I just double clicked on a message for the video, up will then come up that note that we had created, and it'll just say right here a line of text. I can then easily print this message, reply to it, forward it. I can file it into another document, or I can put it in the wastebasket. Why don't I close this out? Also, it's very easy to move one message from one folder to the next. So within my mail folder, I have a series of messages. It's very simple to move a message from one folder to the next. So I can just move that to demonstration. Also, I can move it directly down onto the folder on the PC hard disk, the drawer that's on the PC hard disk. So a strong benefit of the All-in-One Mail for MS Windows is this very easy way to work from my client environment to my server environment and back and forth. So I can work locally on the PC as well as on the server and gain access to all of my mail messages. Since it is a Microsoft Windows application, we support the pull-down menu option style for creating new messages, creating new drawers, new folders, printing messages, editing messages, working directly with the file cabinet for reading new mail or the personal address book or the trash can. I can then also quickly find messages, add new people to the address book, work with my distribution list or set up any preferences I have concerning my system setup. And of course, I have also help messages that are available to me in terms of quickly and easily finding product information on all-in-one mail for Microsoft Windows.
What we're going to look at now is the Pathworks Plus browser, which is one of the pieces of Pathworks Plus, one of the three components. And the browser is intended to be a facility, an application that a user can call on to manipulate and navigate the LAN. And it's based on files, it's based on accessing files. Notice across the top of the screen there are buttons that correspond to the disks that the browser recognizes, very similar to the file manager in the Windows space. One of the differences, however, is that within the browser we can use the customize option to give those drives a bit more friendly name than just A, B, C, and so forth. So here, for instance, we might want to call drive A our floppy drive, and drive G our network drive, and drive C might be our local hard disk. Notice now that the buttons across the top have grown a little larger, and if we use mouse button 2, or the rightmost mouse button, we can toggle these between A, B, C, or E, F, G, and the user-friendly terms for these disks. What that provides us is the ability to let the user know exactly what they're looking at. They can, in fact, set up a disk that is a shared publishing area as opposed to network drive or E or F or so forth. Now these are buttons, and I can click on these buttons, such as clicking on my floppy drive. It will actually allow me to access the floppy that's in drive A. Or clicking on C shows me the contents of drive C, which, as you can see, is broken out hierarchically. All of the subdirectories are listed under C, and if I double-click on a subdirectory, it'll open that subdirectory. On the right-hand side, show me the contents of that subdirectory. And on the left-hand side, show me all the additional subdirectories underneath, in this case, A1 mail. Some of the other customized options we have, for instance, under display attributes, is the ability to show more than just the file name on the right-hand side. Maybe I want to show size and date. Another thing I can do in terms of showing information on the right-hand side is create multiple windows for every subdirectory I want to look at. So right now on the right-hand side we're looking at A1 mail, and let's say we'll take a look at the deck query subdirectory as well. We have a second window here. We can choose under the Windows pull down to arrange those windows in columnar fashion, so we can visually inspect the windows one to the other. Now by clicking on one of these areas, it actually replaces the contents of those areas in the window that has focus. So one of the areas I'm going to look at is just the top-level directory in drive C. And in fact, I'm going to get rid of this window by double-clicking, since it is just a window. And you can see I can scroll through the area using the scroll bars on the right. And one of the things that the browser enables you to do is single-click on a file and either physically drag that file to be able to move it, for instance, to drive A, which actually does a copy of that file to drive A. Or I can use the accelerator buttons shown on the left-hand side here to do additional things, such as view the file. This happens to be a bitmap file, a BMP file. So by using the viewers built into the browser, I can see the content of that file. And I might want to iconify that viewer and come back to it later, and perhaps even go to view some other file. Viewers support many of the popular graphics formats, as well as many of the word processing formats for text viewing, as well as Excel and other spreadsheet formats. So there's quite a few viewers that are built into the product. Built into the viewers as well is the ability to copy information on the clipboard, to print it directly. However, I might want to simply take that file and convert it. One of the other accelerator buttons we have over here is the convert button. Now, in this case, I'm using the same technology that the viewers are built on, but now I'm going to, rather than view the file, convert it to a different format. Here it's showing me that, in fact, it knows it's a Windows bitmap format. And my output format options right now are PCX, or PC Paintbrush, or TIFF format to convert it to. So I'll pick the PC Paintbrush, tell it to convert, and away it goes. Some of the other customized abilities or capabilities are the ability to customize which buttons you want to appear on the left-hand side. Under Modify Icons, we'll be shipping 20 to 30 different buttons that the user will be able to choose from. So, for instance, if I wanted to replace my delete icon, which is this one, with the trash can, it's as simple as doing that. Now, as a user, my particular delete button looks different than someone else's delete button might look. We have the ability to apply filtering to the search criteria, so that if we wanted to not see all the files necessarily, but perhaps just particular file extensions or particular content within a file, we can go to the filter criteria. Let's say we want to look at all files that end with .bmp. I'll turn on my filters, and immediately I see that in this case there's only one file with a .bmp extension. If I go down to the Windows area, which is where many of the BMP files are, notice that there's a few more, but the only things I see here are BMP files. If I turn filtering off, it reverts back to the full directory listing. So you can use this in searching for particular file extensions, or you might want to search for particular files that start with some characters, or you might want to apply the filtering to the content of the files. We do support content-based retrieval based on text matching. We do have the ability to sort information, sort it by type, sort by size, by date, ascending as well as descending. And as I mentioned, a full set of customization capabilities so that the user can specify how they want to see their buttons on the top for the drive designations, how they want to see the browser in terms of startup preferences. I might want to, for instance, already log drive C all the time when the browser comes up. I might want to automatically have the windows shown in a columnar fashion on the right-hand side for displaying files. All these things can be customized so that the user has an exact duplicate of the way they're using the product at any given time. And that's the way that the product will start up next time they use it. In terms of other capabilities, we do have the ability to invoke mail from the browser, so if you click on a file and want to send that to a coworker, you could do that using the mail pull down. We do have printing capabilities. We show you converting and viewing, as well as delete, and copy, and things of that nature.
Let's now take a look at our group conferencing application called Vax Notes. Vax Notes provides electronic conferencing, enabling workgroup members throughout the organization to share information. Within the Notes conferencing application, I have a series of different conferences themselves that are available to me here in my local notebook on my PC. One of the benefits of the Microsoft Windows environment is that it makes navigating through a Notes conference very easy to do, as well as how that information is displayed to me and how I can gain access to that information. So I now have a series of radio buttons available to me for navigating through a particular conference, and to open a particular conference, all I need to do is to double-click on it. So why don't we go into the sample conference, and take a look at some of the topic sentences that are available in that particular notes conference, as well as a lot of the different replies. So I'll just go down here to the topic sentence area, or to the topics, and just click to take me back to the very first note overall in the conference. And then I can quickly step through my different replies just by pushing on the reply radio button overall. So this particular note has 10 replies to this particular topic sentence. I can also, with the strip and pull down menus across the top of the screen, easily navigate through this entire notes conference. So I can take a directory of all the notes in ascending order, and then I'll go here over to the window and arrange that in a cascading style overall. So here is the different notes that are available to me in this notes conference. And it's a small conference. It has only 9 entries in it overall. But with the pull downs, I have a variety of options that are available to me, such as extracting a note so that I can write that note directly to my PC or to any of my PC directories. I can extract a range of different notes. I have customization and setup features. I have within my notebook ways to take directories of my notebook or adding conferences and modifying different conferences. We showed you the quick way to take directories. We can take them in ascending order, descending order, notes that we haven't seen yet by other criteria that I can specify, by ones that I've read. Overall, I have within a note, I have ways I can write the topic to the notes file. I can see on the next, unseen notes or read any particular note that I may want to. I could directly go to read a note, say note 1000. Within the conferences, we have quick ways for identifying information, such as using keywords, or I can create keywords. Also, I can act as a moderator to a conference so that I can create my own particular notes conference and allow other people to participate in that notes conference either as additional moderators or as being members in that notes conference. So I can make it a public notes conference, or I can make it a private notes conference. Capabilities of the Windows Office client will be shown in 3 separate demonstrations. The first demonstration will focus on the Information Manager. The second demonstration will focus on the file cabinet access to the all-in-one integrated Office system. And the third demonstration will show how we can send mail from directly within Microsoft Word using all-in-one mail. Let's first, though, take a look at the Information Manager. The Information Manager provides a series of tools. These tools include a file cabinet where I have 3 drawers within the file cabinet, and also a series of push buttons or radio buttons that allow me to quickly navigate through a lot of my files. So at the push of a button now, I can read mail, find a file, print that file, read new mail, create new mail, send mail, forward mail, reply to mail messages, connect to my file cabinet server, or disconnect from the file cabinet server, access our distributed directory services, create a new folder, empty the wastebasket, access the all-in-one file cabinet, work with my personal address book with my electronic mail system, as well as look at any new mail that I have available to me. Right now, though, let's just take a quick look within the file cabinet in the drawer called Work Related. Within Work Related, I have a series of different folders that are available to me. Folders such as reports, some technical items, requests, some specs, as well as some electronic business document applications. Within technical items, I have a series of documents available to me. and I can easily select the document type. As you can see within the icon, it looks like a document compared with this icon, which is an unread mail message. So if I double-click on this particular message, I have the information presented to me in the text viewer. What I can do is easily modify the font from Helvetica to Courier, as well as I can modify the font size. So right now it's at size 8. I can move it to size 10. I can also move it to size 12. I can move it to a variety of different other sizes. The advantage to that is it's just a little bit easier to see some of the smaller text. I'll now close this document, and why don't we create some mail directly with the Information Manager's electronic mail service. This is using the all-in-one mail server version 1.1, and again, it's creating, it's using our X.400 mailing services overall to create mail. Now, this mail form itself was written in Visual Basic, so it's a very customizable mail user interface. So if your customers would like to modify this overall presentation, it's very easy. And I can go to the to field and type in any addresses that I have directly there. We have a special account set up called the demo account. I can put in a subject, simple message, and I'll just put in a line of text. I can also, though, down here I have radio buttons that allow me to go into the options field if I want to modify, again, some of the message options in terms of importance, sensitivity, priority, if I want to have replies requested. If I click on the paperclip, it allows me to find an attachment. I can easily attach any type of a file that I would like, as well as sending the message. So by clicking on send, then I can send this message out, and I've been working locally, so at this point I would then connect onto the server and mail out that mail message. The next feature we'd like to show you are some of the distributed directory features that we're implementing. Again, this is a customizable form, and I can do a quick search. We have a few names that we've put in there, and one of the advantages of the Windows Office client is how easy it is to move information from the distributed directory services into our personal address book. So I'll double-click and open up the personal address book, and I'll show you how simply it is to move information from my distributed directory services here into that personal address book. So I can select one name, such as Jerry Ford, and just drag him up. You'll notice that the screen's changed color, so I can put information in there directly, and it's going to ask me for any of his information, and that looks pretty good. I can also select a series of different names. So I could access a variety of different of our past presidents overall. I can add in Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, and also Dave Fedor. So maybe Dave is going to be one of our next presidents. And again, I can just, using the mouse, I can easily just drag those names into the personal address book, and now you can see that all of those names are now also directly in my personal address book. The next thing I could do then is go back to create mail and put those names directly into the electronic mail message. We wanted to give you just a quick tour overall of the Information Manager and some of the services that are available to you here. Next, let's take a look at what the all-in-one file cabinet would look like to the Team Links user. I'll go to Utilities and pull down on Customize, enable the all-in-one file cabinet access, and I will then go to the File menu and go to Open. And right now I will be presented with a dialog that will have me connect to the all-in-one file cabinet server. At this point I've been working locally on the PC, and now I'm going to connect into that server so that I can see my documents. So I have a drawer that's opened up on the all-in-one iOS server, and I have a couple folders there. One is the red folder, and within the red folder I have a message, and then also we have some test documents. So here again are a few documents that are just in that PC test folder. I also have the ability to save documents directly into that all-in-one file cabinet folder. So at this point I could create a new folder, put in the title, an author, and also any keywords. I also have the option of saving it into other drawers if those were made available to me. And also, finally, I have a third feature that I want to show you quickly, and that's if I want to find a document. So I can search by different folders, by titles, by the author, by author's name, CC names if they're mail messages, document types, document formats, when the document was created, when it was modified. Now I'll demonstrate the third capability that is available as a Windows Office client user. I'll go into Microsoft's Word, and what I will do is, first of all, go to the File menu and open up a document, and then I will mail that document from directly within Microsoft Word. So I'll go back to the File pull down, and you'll notice right here it says A1 Mail. So that means use the Windows Office Client mail services to send out this document. I'm then presented with a dialog, and I just can put in the to field, any CCs, and subjects. So I'll just say the Word document, and then I can send the entire message, or I could highlight a certain region of the message if I only wanted to send one or two paragraphs directly of the message. So I have that option, and then I can send it as text, or I can send it overall as an attachment to a mail message. So I wanted to give you there just a quick highlight of that send mail capability.
EBD is a client-server-based electronic document, forms, routing, tracking, and approval system based on mail services. It's an integrated part of the Windows Office client. If I open up my inbox, I'll find interspersed in amongst regular mail messages EBD documents. If I double-click on an EBD document, it launches me into the EBD capabilities within Mail. This particular EBD document has been sent to me for my approval. As I can see, it has two attachments to a main document. If I were to double-click on an attachment, I get to view that attachment, in this case with a text viewer. I double-click on the second attachment, and it will launch me into, in this case, Microsoft Excel, because this attachment is an Excel spreadsheet. EBD supports many different types of attachments. They can be DDIF, they can be Microsoft Word, they can be spreadsheets, or word processing documents. This is a live spreadsheet, and if I have the ability to modify this document, it allows me to do so. Over in the right-hand side of the screen, EBD presents me the capabilities I have to modify the document. I can add my own attachment. I can sign my approval, disapproval, or acknowledgement. I can route the document on, and later on I can track the document. Up here it shows me the routing list. It was initiated by Mrs. Prouty, sent to me, and later on it'll go to Miss Rogers. Every document develops its own audit trail, which I can look at. It shows me the time and date of significant events. If I open up a second document in my inbox, this is an internal purchase order for PC. Here I can click on the form, and it presents me with a live data form. This particular data form was constructed using Visual Basic. EBD actually supports any type of forms package that your customer chooses to use. This is a live form. I can enter data in the fields. And if I choose to, I can go over here to Approve, double-click on Approve, and I'll receive a dialog box which asks for my password. So the signature function is a protected operation. And if I wanted to initiate my own document, I can open up the EBD Applications folder. EBD comes with a set of applications already constructed out of the box, ready for use by the end users. For example, I could select an internal purchase order, and it would present me an empty internal purchase order form, which I can then fill out.
Let's now take a look at our group conferencing application called Vax Notes. Vax Notes provides electronic conferencing, enabling workgroup members throughout the organization to share information. Within the Notes conferencing application, I have a series of different conferences themselves that are available to me here in my local notebook on my PC. One of the benefits of the Microsoft Windows environment is that it makes navigating through a Notes conference very easy to do, as well as how that information is displayed to me and how I can gain access to that information. So I now have a series of radio buttons available to me for navigating through a particular conference, and to open a particular conference, all I need to do is to double-click on it. So why don't we go into the sample conference and take a look at some of the topic sentences that are available in that particular Notes conference, as well as a lot of the different replies. So I'll just go down here to the topic sentence area, or to the topics, and just click to take me back to the very first note overall in the conference. And then I can quickly step through my different replies just by pushing on the reply radio button overall. So this particular note has 10 replies to this particular topic sentence. I can also, with the strip and pull down menus across the top of the screen, easily navigate through this entire Notes conference. So I can take a directory of all the notes in ascending order, and then I'll go here over to the window and arrange that in a cascading style overall. So here is the different notes that are available to me in this Notes conference. And it's a small conference. It has only 9 entries in it overall. But with the pull downs, I have a variety of options that are available to me, such as extracting a note so that I can write that note directly to my PC or to any of my PC directories. I can extract a range of different notes. I have customization and setup features. I have within my notebook ways to take directories of my notebook or adding conferences and modifying different conferences. We showed you the quick way to take directories. We can take them in ascending order, descending order, notes that we haven't seen yet by other criteria that I can specify, by ones that I've read. Overall, I have within a note, I have ways I can write the topic to the notes file. I can see on the next, unseen notes or read any particular note that I may want to. I could directly go to read a note, say note 1000. Within the conferences, we have quick ways for identifying information, such as using keywords, or I can create keywords. Also, I can act as a moderator to a conference so that I can create my own particular Notes conference and allow other people to participate in that Notes conference either as additional moderators or as being members in that Notes conference. So I can make it a public Notes conference, or I can make it a private Notes conference.
I'm going to activate that query right now. That query is an interesting tool in that it can be used as an interactive tool or it can be used as an adjunct tool to another application. What I'm going to show you first is the interactive component of it. It looks like just about any other Windows application you've ever seen with pull-down menus and from there cascading menus or dialog boxes on top of that. I'm going to start off by opening a database. And as you can see, I have a list of databases that are available to me. I'll be opening the personnel database. It's going out over DECnet right now, connecting to a Vax and to RDB to get the data. It's actually finished doing that. And now I can start constructing queries to get the information back to my MS-DOS PC for use in other applications. Most of the work in DECquery gets done in the query menu and in the data menu. So we'll start with the query menu and start creating a query. Now I have three boxes displayed here: the database box, the tables, and the columns within tables. If I had multiple databases, they would show up over here. As I go through the tables, you can see that the available columns actually change. I'm going to construct a very basic query using my personnel database. I'm going to construct a query of employees, and then I'm going to match it up with their current salaries. Now I can select all the columns very easily using this little radio button, or I can actually pick and choose the ones that I want. So I'm going to select the employee ID, last name, first name, state, and that's all. Now what's appearing on my screen is what's known as the metadata. It's really a placeholder for the real data once I finish my query. Next thing I'm going to do here is what's known as a join. I'm going to associate that employee information with their current salary. And I have a table called current salary. All I need out of that is the salary amount. And I'm going to match that up against the employee ID. And now you can see I have another column here called salary amount. Now from there, if I want only certain records back, I go into specify subset, and all I want are employees that have a salary amount greater than $50,000. Finally, I fetch the data. It goes to the Vax, retrieves the information from RDB. And there it is. At this point, I can export that information to a file, or I can export it to the MS Windows clipboard. Let's put it onto the clipboard. And then I can show you in another application, such as Excel. I can just paste that information right in. That's because DECquery takes full advantage of the MS Windows environment. Now what I'm going to show you is how you can also use DECquery as an adjunct to another application to develop complete solutions. I have a spreadsheet here for my employees that I built, a little model. And I have an item on my Excel menu called DECquery, which will actually create an option for me. Now we've integrated with the MS Windows environment using something called DDE, the Dynamic Data Exchange Facility. And that allows other applications like Excel to communicate with DECquery and pass requests to DECquery and DECquery then returns the information from the request into the clipboard. So Excel is now asking DECquery what databases it knows about, and then I can select one and open it up. This is just a very simple Excel application that we've created here using their macros. Now DECquery is telling Excel what queries are available for execution. I'm going to select the first one. That's an existing query that's been built, and it's going to place the results, as you can see, into Excel, and then down here I actually have my total salary. So this is all using Excel constructs and the Excel macro language to communicate with DECquery to get information. So that means that the end user or somebody in the end user's organization or EIS could construct an entire application or solution using Excel or things like Word for Windows or any application that uses DDE, and they can actually construct that application around DECquery and allow DECquery to serve all of the applications in that environment with data from RDB and all the things that RDB can talk to. So once again, DECquery can be used as an interactive application, or it could be used as an adjunct or a supporting application for other MS Windows components, such as Excel or Word for Windows, PowerPoint, anything that can use both DDE and Clipboard.
Let's now take a look at our electronic library product called Vax VTX. Vax VTX presents an online library of information that is stored in infobases. These infobases can store text, graphics, images, and binary files. Corporations use Vax VTX services extensively for making available reports, manuals, procedures, catalogs, price lists, and many other documents. What I'm presented here overall is a screen of a series of different infobases that are available to me. And to access one of these infobases, I can easily just double-click on it. The little satellite will then be activated, meaning that it's going to connect into that particular infobase itself. These infobases are also set up with a variety of keywords so that I can quickly move to that particular infobase directly. So up here in the upper right-hand corner is a little magnifying glass. And I'm going to find one particular video text database that our sales support staff uses extensively called the Bulletin Board of Sales Support, or BOSS, B-O-S-S. So I'll click on OK. Again, you can see the little satellite has been activated, and we'll now make our connection into the video text database here called the Bulletin Board of Sales Support. So within this particular database, we have available to us a variety of different presentations and demos, information on sales tools and programs, a lot of products and strategies, performance guides. We have a variety of different keywords that we can access. We also have a lot of our different marketing groups that have put information in here, such as the Office and Information Systems group. So I'll click here on number 5 to access the Office Information Systems group database. And within this particular database, I then have all of the events and training brochures that are available to me, events calendars, strategic presentations, solution guides, success stories, and any types of product information that I would directly need to access. Some of the keys here along the top, I have this particular push button allows me to move back within a particular infobase in case I've gone into a series of pages. And then the home button over here will take me back to the first database that I started when I connected into the corporate video text library. This icon represents setting up a personal magazine so that if I have some particular video text information bases that I would want to access immediately, I can access them directly at this point. I also have, through the use of supporting the Microsoft Windows user interface, pull-downs that are available to me. So a lot of information that's sent to me, or a lot of information that I need to access, I can use that via the pull down. So save as would allow me to save a report directly from one of the info bases to my PC or to another area. I can copy pages. I can navigate, to main backup pages very easily. Find page info. Also do any sorts of customized work that I need to do within Vax, within the video text database.
DeckWrite version 2.0 is available for Digital's Vax VMS workstations, or Alteryx RISC workstations, as well as the Sun Spark station. Today you're seeing DeckWrite on an MS Windows PC. We call DeckWrite everybody's document processor because it's very straightforward to use. One of the reasons for that is with 2.0 we have a new point-and-click function bar which you're seeing up at the top of the document. The point-and-click function bar, as you'll see through the demonstration, gives me very fast access to most of DeckWrite's capabilities. In addition, the DeckWrite menus are now organized into short menus, which you're seeing here. This gives me fast access to my most commonly used menu functions. In addition, I can select full menus, which will give me access to DeckWrite's more advanced capabilities. If I put my cursor on the word DeckWrite, my cursor is the triangle that you see here, my point-and-click function bar will tell me exactly what I have. So for example, I know that this is a head 2, my font is avant-garde, and my point size is 48 points. As I move through the document, I always know the status of what I have. For example, now I know that this is a head 1, my point size is changed to 18 points. If I move into a paragraph, the function bar will tell me that my paragraph style is body text, and I happen to have 12 point size. Let's move down in the document. You'll see here that I have a sentence that says take a closer look. This could be a page, it could be a paragraph, and if I'd like to experiment and change my justification, I simply move to my point-and-click function bar and say, let's justify this over to the left. And if I'd like to experiment further, I can choose center, or I can put it back the way I had it in the beginning and justify it to the right. Just point and click. If I'd like to change page numbers, I can simply click on my arrows, and now you'll see that I'm at page 2. If I'd like to modify the attributes of a word, I can double click to select the word, and this could be a paragraph or it could be a page. And let's say I'd like to see what this looks like italicized. Notice how it remains selected for me. This is a user preference that you can set. And now I can continue experimenting, and perhaps I'd like to bold the information. Notice that I can have a paragraph of text next to a list of information. I can also have graphics wrapped around a paragraph of text. With DeckWrite, I can place text and graphics anywhere I want on my page. Up here, if I click on this particular icon, this will turn on hidden symbols. So if I happen to have a laptop PC on an airplane, or I want to import information from an ASCII editor or another word processor, and things aren't wrapping the way I think they should, I can turn on hidden symbols and see exactly what I have. For example, I notice that I have paragraph markers, I have carriage returns. This upside down question mark lets me know that I have a text block that's anchored to my heading, help when you need it. I also can see things like soft hyphens. For example, this word editors was going to hyphenate and leave me a lone E. And I didn't think that that would look appropriate, so I said for just this occurrence of the word, don't hyphenate it. So with DeckWrite, you have a lot of control over the way your document is going to appear. If I'd like to spell check with DeckWrite, I can spell check my entire document, a paragraph, or perhaps just a word. If I select a word, I can simply check my spelling. Okay. DeckWrite will give me choices of the appropriate words it thinks I might want to replace this with, and I simply can select the word and double click on it, or I can say replace. And you'll notice that when DeckWrite corrects the spelling for me, it also maintains the italic attribute that I had previously set. Here we have a list. If I'd like to delete some information with DeckWrite, I can use my mouse or I can simply hit the delete key on my keyboard, and notice how DeckWrite repaginates for me automatically. Now I've got a bulleted list, but let's say I'd like to change the style of this list from a bulleted list to a numbered list. Changing styles with DeckWrite is very simple. All I do is select the information and I go to my styles list on my function bar, and I can simply scroll down and choose numbered. And you'll notice that now I have a numbered list. Now with my numbered list, if I had different attributes, for example, if my text was bolded or italicized and I had different fonts and different point sizes, all of those attributes would be applied with that one click of the mouse. If I'd like to add to my list, I simply put my cursor where I'd like to add information, and by hitting my mouse button, I get a nice context-sensitive pop-up menu. DeckWrite's pop-up menus are always context-sensitive, so for example, because I'm dealing with a list, I get choices of things that I can do with that list, such as start a sublist. By simply getting my pop-up menu back, I can start another sublist. And if I'd like to add another list item, at this point in my list, I simply hit a return because I'm at the same level, and I can keep going. Now, if after doing this, I really liked my list better as a bulleted list, DeckWrite is very forgiving, and it's easy for me to go back and apply the bulleted list style. I simply select the information, I go to Styles on my function bar, and I say Make it bulleted. Okay, and you'll notice that in addition to the bullets, I also have dashes and asterisks because those were part of my style. DeckWrite includes a full function table editor. In addition to text, I can also include numbers in my table, as well as Clipart, which you see here, graphics, images, even technical equations. My table action menu will show you that I can join and split cells. I can also, for example, select cell attributes to put a fill pattern or shading for emphasis into some of my cells. Here you're seeing a column of text alongside an image. And if I'd like to adjust the paragraph spacing between this column of text so I can line it up next to my graphic, notice here that they're not quite lined up at the bottom. I can simply select the information in the column and use my function bar and my paragraph spacing icon to increase the spacing of this column of text. And you notice now how nicely they line up. If I'd like to adjust the spacing between lines of text, I simply use my line spacing tool. And you notice here that I can increase line spacing or decrease line spacing. Very simple. DeckWrite also includes 400 pieces of revisable clip art. What I mean by revisable clip art is not only can I reposition my clip art, scale it, and crop it, but if I select it, I can get my pop-up menu, which is now relating to graphics because I have a graphic selected, and ungroup my clip art, and you'll see how many things I can edit. So for example, if I'd like to just select Australia and move it off the map, I can go ahead and edit my clip art. Now I'm going to simply click on my page number and say page 1 to move back to the beginning of the document. Let's say, for example, I've selected the word DeckWrite, and I'd really like to select a little further on in my document. Simply by hitting the Shift key and clicking with my mouse, I can select all that information just by point and clicking. I don't have to drag the mouse. And if I'd like to select from page 1 to page 3, I can simply go to page 3 and put my mouse wherever I'd like it while holding the Shift key, and you'll see that all of this information has been selected all the way throughout my document.